All right, hi class. This is a tutorial uh, for your assignment to create Ken Burns effect in a photo slideshow. Um, I'm going to try and keep this as quick and concise as possible while still explaining everything that needs to be said. Feel free to fast forward, rewind this. I might actually do a little fast forwarding of the video myself if it looks like some parts of it could be quicker. So let's go ahead and get started. For some of you, you might be new to Premiere. I won't go into too much detail. And for others, this is a new interface. It looks like it just got updated on my Mac, and the workspaces up here is different. View you can view them from this workspaces tab. It took me a little while to find that, but it looks a little different now. Um, so workspaces, the default workspace is editing, at least on the way I have my computer set up. It is. They have an assembly one that makes it easy to put your project together. I prefer just editing, and we're going to go into effects in a little while. So, in my bin here, I've added pictures. I've added a generic video, and I'll explain that here in a second. That is a 1080p video. So if you want to be able to watch your slideshow later on in 1080p, then you have to set your video um, to those settings, and I'll show you an easy way to do that. And then I have some options for music. I've just discovered I don't think I can record computer sound while doing this tutorial right now. So that was a feature they took away. I think it was giving other teachers problems. So the first thing we're going to do is drop this generic video, and I'll give you access to something like this on my timeline. And actually, let me go ahead and make a new timeline so you can see what it does. Okay, so we're going to go to File, New, Sequence. And I just click OK with whatever it says there. It's fine. All right. So now we're doing sequence 2. So I'm going to drop this on here. All right. They don't match. I'm going to go ahead and change the sequence settings because I know this is a 1080p video and that it has the settings I want my final video to be. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. All right, now this is a 1080p uh, project that we're working with. I'm going to use these sliders here to stretch out my layers. So I have video 1, 2, and 3, audio 1, 2, and 3. We're not going to need different layers today, but just so you know that they're there. I'm going to just delete that video. We don't need it anymore. That was just to set the parameters. I'm going to look through the pictures. And when I double click, it shows it up here in the source monitor. And I'm going to kind of mentally decide what order I want to put them in. I'm going to start off with my dad on top of um, a he's I don't know what he's doing there. He's in in the army and stationed in South Korea. Let's put a family picture here. My dad's not in this one, but he's probably taking the picture. That's my mom. That's me. That's either my cousin um, Chuy or JJ, my tío Genaro, my tia Chris, his wife, my cousin Patty. I don't know who that is. And this is my cousin Laura, my cousin Judy, and my tío Pedro. All right, so Let's put a picture of my dad and I playing with the sprinkler when I was a kid. And let's just go ahead and put a fourth picture there and end it with my dad playing guitar. And that was probably when I was in middle school or junior high or high school at some point. So if I hit play here with the space bar, it'll have each picture play for, I think it's 6 seconds. The default, I think, might be 5 seconds, but there's a way to change that. But 5 seconds is it's a decent amount of time to show a picture. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move the slider down here so that I can see the pictures on my timeline. And it starts at 0, so the video will just start with this picture here. And I'm going to click to the effects workspace, and that changes the windows around a little bit. I'm going to click on my first photo. There's a white box around it that lets me know that I'm editing that photo. This little clock symbol here, these are these drop keyframes, and I'll explain that here in a second. So I'm gonna, if you don't see that drop down, this is in the motion panel here. So we're gonna drop down the options for motion, and we have position and scale. So scale will make the picture larger or smaller. Position will move the picture around in your frame. So I dropped a keyframe by clicking both of these clocks, and they're blue. And then I'm going to move my playhead to near the end of the video. And I'm going to click the little diamonds here. And that kind of marks where the end of the animation is going to be. So I'm going to move without touching anything else while I'm still on these little diamonds here. I'm going to make the picture larger, and I'm going to scroll it down by hovering over here where I get the two side arrows, and that lets me move things around. And I'm going to just leave that the way it was. So let's move my playhead back to the beginning. And I hit play with a space bar. All right. So let's watch that again. So it's moved from 0. So as soon as the picture appears on screen, it's moving. And we get to the next one there. All right. So you don't want to have the exact same effect on each one because it'll start to be a little boring. And the whole reason of doing this is to add some interest to it. So if you start anticipating that the picture is going to move exactly the same way, it's not as interesting. So for the next one, you can, okay, so this is where I mess up and a lot of students mess up. I have the white box over the first one, even though I'm looking at the second one. Go ahead and click on the next one. All right, so I'm looking at it and it has the white box around it. So that means that's what we're going to be editing over here. Before I drop the position and scale time mark keyframes, I'm going to go ahead and blow this up. That's a little too much. And I want to be able to see them head to toe on here. All right, so we're going to start with them big. And then I'm going to drop my keyframe. And then at the end, I'm going to drop the keyframes again. And I'm just going to zoom it out a little bit. So it's slowly zooming out. All right, let's animate the next one here. So I'm going to click on it, make sure I'm on the pointy tool. And then over here, I'm going to make sure I'm at the beginning of the picture. And let's start with it a little bigger. I want to keep the bottom in there. I'm going to zoom in from here. So let's drop position and scale. Move to the end. Zoom it out a little bit. Move that. A little bit up there. And I have my keyframes. All right. And then let's edit this one. Last one. Let's keep it 100% to begin with, and then we will zoom in fast and you can see what that looks like. You usually don't want to do this. All right, so in 5 seconds, that last picture is going to zoom in quite a bit. All right, I think we're running into some, it's not showing the full effects here. Let's go ahead and do render effects in to out. There we go. It's a little too much for my computer to handle without rendering it firsthand. So they're each moving at a slightly different speed and a different direction. That's going a little bit faster. Okay, lastly, we're going to add some music. I assure you this is really good music, even though you can't hear it. It's free from Mixkit. I'll give you the link. If you hover towards the end of it, you get that little red bumper with the arrow. And I'm going to click down and bring this in. Let it go. And this white line here is called the rubber band. I'm just going to lower it and just play it constantly. You can raise it and lower it if you want, but I'm just going to keep it constant, low volume. All right, there you go. Thanks for watching.